Hey guys, welcome to this week's video. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about some workflow hacks that I use in Ableton to really just speed up the process. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below if you have any workflow hacks or tips for Ableton or any DAW really. A lot of the ones that I'm using in Ableton I transferred over from my time at Reason and continued basically doing the same thing. Had to make some adjustments, but every DAW works on the same principles. So the first workflow hack actually begins outside of the DAW with what I'm actually using on my desk. I've got a wireless keyboard, which is super helpful for moving around and out of the way and that kind of thing. Still gives me control. I've got a MIDI controller that's permanently set up and works super well with Ableton. And so I usually am using this for all of my transport controls. But with Ableton, the most important thing for me about this controller is the mixer on this controller. Because the mixer in Ableton is so trash, and I hate flipping between windows all the time, having this mixer on the controller lets me see everything I need and gives me responsive control over all of the different tracks, whatever I've got selected right here. And so I find when I'm working with this controller in Ableton, I'm never hitting tab, I'm never switching between session view and arrangement view. I'm always in arrangement view because everything I would possibly want the mixer to do is getting done in this controller right here. The second thing, have everything set up. I've got this mic here on this boom stand. This room is not the most acoustically treated, which is kind of annoying. So this being a dynamic mic, this is great for tracking quick vocals. I do have another condenser over there. Well, I've got the shield over there. The condenser is actually in a box holding up this, this controller. But I have that for when I need to do more serious recording, and this isn't the tool for the job. But then I've got the machine here, always set up. I have a guitar pedal board down there, which is always plugged into the Apollo. Everything's set up, everything's always ready to go. And that just makes life a heck of a lot easier when you're trying to capture ideas quickly. All right, so when we get into the actual DAW, there's a few things that I have done that I think really help with the workflow. First of all is in the key commands, there's one that I just use often, which is D. I've set transport stop to D. Because one of the things I don't like about Ableton is there's no way to easily return to the start of the track. There's no keyboard command for that. So by pushing D, it lets me jump straight back to the start of the track. This is something I did all the time when I was working exclusively in Reason, and it was one of the major things that I missed when I transitioned to Ableton. So that's one change that I always have set up in my default template. If you haven't got a default template set up, I would highly recommend you do it. This is what my default template looks like when I open it. I have all of these black because I just don't like them getting in the way. And I've got this notes track up here. So this is what I use if I want to make a note about a section of a clip. If you want to save your default template, just go into the settings, go file, folder, and hit save current set as default. So I use the notes to let me know about stuff that I need to do in sections of the track. So, you know, I might make a MIDI clip, rename it, and say needs more cowbell. You know, things like that. That way I know everything underneath that MIDI clip and that note, something needs to happen to it. You know, it's not done, it's not finished. I also use color coding quite extensively. All of my bus channels in Live, I make black. That way I can see at a glance how everything is laid out and separated between sections. I make all of my master channels and stuff black as well. And I always label my buses bus in caps and then the name. This is a hangover that I had from Reason as well, where when you have like a long list of tracks, it's easy to see visually BUS in capital letters. Why this is helpful is, say you want to export audio video. You don't just want to do that, you want to export a bus. You can easily see where the buses are. by scrolling down. This is another thing I've started doing recently. In the naming of this one here, I have actually used a siren emoji to indicate that there's something in this track that I haven't finished doing yet. And I put in brackets what it is. That way, if I haven't worked on the session for a minute and I jump back into it, I can see, all right, there's something here. What is it? EQ. I click on here. I'm like, all right, I mustn't be done EQing this track. That's something I found in the past when I've come back to a track, maybe not being sure where I left off. So a little thing like that helps to remember. I also use bright yellow as like a highlighter. So if I highlight a section like this, it means there's something in that section that needs attention, and to that later to fix that or whatever. I also color code my tracks a specific way always. Drums are always red, bass is always orange. That way when I come back to a track, again, it's super easy to see what I was doing, where everything is. One thing that I've started doing recently is actually making use of these collections. And I plan on extending these out and cataloging plugins and stuff in more ways as it seems sensible. But up here I've got effects. This is just where I'm putting all of the effects that I use on a regular basis. Same with instruments. All of the instruments that I kind of go to on a regular basis. And I created one for UAD because these are all the UAD plugins I have. And if you watch my last video on Luna, you'll know how stupid it is that they don't let you only install the ones that you own. So I took the liberty of putting the ones that I own in a folder. I also added my folder that I use for stuff, for storing all of my music production stuff. So I've got like a folder here with studio tools, things, or whatever that I can find quickly. That's a little messy right now. I need to tidy that up. But one other thing that I found super cool recently is to do with the Reason Rack plugin. What I found you can do is save an instance of the Reason Rack plugin with a rack installed. You just go down here and hit the save on the VST thing. And so what I've begun doing is saving all of the ones that I use a whole bunch, like synchronous sidechain preset, or the Softube saturation knob as a preset, or Reason channel EQ as a preset, and or like my current mastering chain as a preset. But for me, this way of saving different Reason Rack effects and plugins has been game changing. Like you don't have to browse and do stuff just here or install combinators or whatever, but you can treat the whole Reason Rack more like a specific VST, and I found that has given me a ton more flexibility. I'm really, really enjoying that. And so I plan on saving a pulverizer, because that's something I use a lot. You just have to decide what I want my default settings to be on that. I'll probably end up saving an RV700 preset, and whatever else I just find myself turning to frequently, I will save as a specific Reason effect in the folder here. Same with the instruments and same with the players. I've never really been a fan of starting templates out with all of the tracks and instruments already there. I don't like feeling like I'm being told what I have to put in a track. However, one idea that I did have that I am planning on implementing sometime soon is saving Reason Rack presets or instrument presets in sections over here. Like I'll probably have like a starters folder or something. So that way, rather than having all of the tracks kind of preloaded, I can have all of my main starters in a folder and drag them in as I want, because like I said, I don't like having everything there and feeling like I have to use that, because I'm just getting rid of tracks. I like starting with a blank canvas every time. However, the point of using these folders and everything is to try and make it as easy as possible to get stuff onto that blank canvas, so you're not doing all the administrative work every time. Another thing that I really love about this Apollo is it's got a mono button on the monitor. So I can switch between stereo and mono super easily. That's not a super big deal. When I didn't have that, what I had was a utility set up on my master, and I just had a keyboard shortcut assigned to the mono button, so I can still A/B real quick with my keyboard shortcut. I also have these headphones plugged in permanently, and this is something that I use super frequently for A/Bing. If it sounds good on my monitors and it also sounds good on my headphones, then it probably sounds good. I typically also reference stuff on 3 or 4 other pairs of speakers and headphones. The Bose noise cancelling ones over there, normal Apple headphones, my iPhone, the car, you know, as many as possible. All right, final thing I wanted to talk about today was quick fire with some of my favorite free VSTs and plugins that I've been using. I want to make a whole video about dope free plugins at some point, but if you're not using these ones, I'd highly recommend checking them out. First one is Span, which is just a frequency analyzer. But it's got a whole lot of cool presets and stuff that you can do with it. To be honest, I haven't fully delved into this yet, but I really like it so far. Most importantly, you can change colors. The second one is Wider. I've talked about this before. I just love it for widening things really cleanly. Simple. I like it a lot. The Softube saturation knob is actually a free rack extension, and it's also a free VST. I haven't bothered to get the VST because I have it as a rack extension. But that's great. I really like the Softube saturation knob. It's easy, quick, does the job. Spitfire Labs. They're, I haven't really used them much, but I downloaded them all. Worth checking out if you want some of the sounds that they have. Spitfire Audio have some great stuff. Native Instruments also have a free version of Komplete that I really like. I think it's got some cool stuff in it, so that's definitely worth checking out as well. It's called Komplete Start. So that's good. But anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you found some of these workflow tips or whatever that I'm using in Ableton helpful. If you have any of your own that you think would be cool to share, let me know in the comments, because I always love hearing how different people structure their workflows when it comes to making music. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.